Hello again and welcome back to another episode of Father and Sundays, the unexplainable guide to absolutely nothing. Today's podcast we are going to be talking about superheroes and superpowers and all things super.
Super.
Alright, so stick around.
Let's do this. Right, okay then. Superheroes, superpowers. Something we both, or certainly the superhero side of it, something we're both quite passionate about. That sounds a bit lame, but we are. We love the films, we love the comics. One of the things that's always quite divisive is the Marvel DC, which side you drop on, because people seem to think that you've either got to like one of them or the other. So where do you stand on that?
I think to be perfectly honest, I don't think you have got to sit on one or the other. But personally, I do sit on more of the Marvel side. I think that's more for me because Marvel is a bit more, I'd say, joyful. It's funny. It's colourful in a sense. I don't know. It just feels more family friendly. The movies are really good and stuff like that. The comics are really good. The characters, the actual superheroes are great. I love Marvel comics and I love Marvel Entertainment, Marvel Studios, all that kind of stuff. DC, on the other hand, I enjoy it. It's a bit darker. It's aimed towards a different audience, it feels sometimes. A lot of it I do enjoy. I wouldn't say I enjoy it as much as Marvel, especially when it does come to the films, because, I mean, some of the Batman films are excellent, they're amazing, but some of the more recent DC films are severely lacking. I mean, I've got a lot of high hopes for the new Suicide Squad that's going to be coming out with James Gunn directing it, because he's such a good director. He did like the Guardians of the Galaxy films, so I've got a lot of high hopes for that. But I mean, some of them weren't as bad as, like, for example, I just mentioned Suicide Squad, the previous Suicide Squad film. There was a lot of people hating on that. And I think, to be honest, when I went into it, I was expecting really poor things because everyone said how bad it was going to be. It wasn't the best film ever for a long shot, but it was better than I expected it to be. Yeah. I do think DC gets a lot of stick, but it's...
Yeah, I think...
It's okay.
I mean, the subject matter for DC, is an incredible amount that they could do. And... arguably, I mean, you think about it, for years and years, it's the DC characters, comics, superheroes that were the ones that were made it to film. You know, you had Batman films, but you didn't have much from Marvel. Then you started to get Spider-Man, which kind of crossed both at that point in time. Not crossed both, but didn't sit in either camp particularly at that point, because Marvel as a studios didn't own it. But I think it's DC. It's just a nightmare for them. I mean, I've got, I've watched the films Batman versus Superman. I've watched Suicide Squad. I've watched Justice League, and they're okay, but they're just not.
I think the
remarkable.
Point is they're okay.
Yeah, but they could, and it is hit and miss as well, though, because if you think about Marvel, and really the success of these, I mean, the comics have been successful all the way through, that's a different thing, but the success of them has been down to the films. And when you think about the way Marvel started, I mean, there was a couple of false attempts with The Incredible Hulk, and Hulk, the original one. I mean, that wasn't particularly from the Marvel Studios, but The Incredible Hulk was. And people slammed that. I enjoyed that film, but people slammed that one. It was only when Iron Man kicked off that people started to say, that this is great, this is all working towards. And let's face it, they got better and better.
Things turned around as soon as the MCU... I mean, superheroes changed as soon as the MCU was created. As soon as the Iron Man film, I know, obviously, Hulk... Was it Hulk? No, The Incredible Hulk.
The first one was Hulk.
Yeah, The Incredible
which
Hulk.
was the Eric Banner, and then Incredible Hulk, was the one that sits within the...
Yeah, I mean, although they sometimes discount it, it's not on Disney Plus, that one. But it's once those started coming out, and I think everything superhero-wise grew, and that's where Marvel really took off and showed how much they've got in their pocket, superhero wise. They keep working out new ones that you've probably never heard of. I'm going to ignore that voice crack there. And then DC.
Getting emotional about this,
I
isn't
know.
it? It's
DC,
something close to your heart.
Exactly. DC have tried it. DC have tried to do it in multiple ways, which is a bit strange. They decided to do it in a cinematic way where all their films were using the same actors and such as that. But then they had a TV side of things where they were using different actors for the same characters, which was really strange.
You're talking about sort of Daredevil and Arrow and things like that.
Well, Daredevil's Marvel.
Oh well, yeah, okay, right.
Yeah, but all stuff like that.
I'll get my coat.
Yeah, you should leave. I think. No, they decided to use different actors for the same characters, and you decided to have it in two different universes. And I think Marvel have tried to do the TV side of things. They have done it very well, though it has been very separate. Like you mentioned, Daredevil, Jessica Jones, all the Netflix side of things, which is now gone. But they did Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is amazing. I love it. Agent Carter, love that too. Inhumans, Runaways. They've now really started to take off with their Disney Plus series like WandaVision, and there's going to be Falcon and Winter Soldier. I mean, WandaVision, as of today I'm recording, the finale's just come out. You haven't watched it yet, but I have. And then in a couple of weeks' time, so the week after this one goes out, I believe, then Falcon and the Winter Soldier will come out. But yeah, this...
But I think from watching WandaVision, we talked about this before, but I think the success of the Marvel films has meant that they've got a little bit more they're allowed to be a bit more creative about it. They're allowed to push the boundaries a little bit with it. Because
and they get some good actors as well.
Oh, without a doubt, yeah. But even like television stuff for DC, I mean, it's kind of the origin story, isn't it, of Batman? But Gotham, that's great. I love that series, and there's been a number of them, bringing it up to the point where he becomes Batman. But they're really good, and you see the beginnings of the Penguin, and they had relatively unknown actors in those parts. But it is really good watching. So I've got a lot of time for that, and I do think one of the things where DC trumps Marvel is around the villains, because I think the villains within DC, there's just something about it, and again, it tends to be around Batman. It tends to be around that sort of thing. But some of them are incredible. Joker.
I mean,
but one.
Yeah, exactly. But don't get me wrong. I mean, there have been films falling flat on DC side of things, like Suicide Squad, like I mentioned. Batman vs Superman was terrible. But when it comes to Marvel films as well, there's also been Marvel films which were okay but did fall flat, like Fantastic Four being one of them, and Fantastic Four 2, and when they did a reboot, Fantastic Four. And I believe The Amazing Spider-Man, again, we enjoyed that, but didn't do quite as well as the original Spider-Man films and stuff like that.
It's weird though how someone latches on to. There is this doesn't is not just around these sort of films, but when someone decides they don't like it, and then it just builds up this momentum of people saying, well, no, they're terrible. And I do think a lot of people jump on the bandwagon on these things and say, right, we're not supposed to like that one, we're supposed to like that one. So
I've got a question for you though, but do you think there's a lot of films within the MCU from a lot of heroes that may or may not have really necessarily known much about beforehand? Do you think they would have done as well had it not been for the MCU? Like, for example, one being Doctor Strange. I don't think we would have seen a Doctor Strange film had there not been the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Although maybe that's a bit different, but like stuff like Black Panther's such a good film as well. But do you know what I mean? Like those kind of characters.
They always stayed safe. Before that, I mean, even Iron Man was a bit of a chance, because it wasn't. But they've always been around. From a Marvel perspective, I suppose Spider-Man was always the one. Captain America, they toyed with a little bit, but again, it took these first films to start I think with the Marvel universe, I think it was the temptation for everybody that they were going to set up the Avengers. And all these little teasers at the end of the films was always working towards having the Avengers together. And that was something people that are interested in that sort of thing was waiting for. So I think they were very clever on that sort of score. But, it's not for everybody, is it?
That anticipation, that hype, it's similar to the analogy I went through previously in theme parks, our first episode, where I said it's like opening a present. And gradually you're seeing these things unravel, especially with the post-credit scenes, which is a big thing with Marvel. Is the post-credit scenes gradually getting you excited for the next one? Like, you've gone all through that film, and it's an amazing thing to think, wow, that was good. Wow, that was a good ending. And then they leave it like... I'm not going to spoil anything, because actually there was one film I'm about to mention, but you haven't seen it yet, which was Far From Home. But there's been some things that have been left in the plot, like, oh, hang on, but what's happening now? Or there's been a post-credit film that builds up to something else. I mean, X-Men films were doing it as well. And
see, that's another side of it as well. Yeah, the X-Men, and obviously they had the series of films, and they went back, and it was like prequels to that.
That can be dark like DC in some senses, especially Logan.
Oh yeah, that certainly was, wasn't it?
That was a really good film. I
think, irrespective of everything else, I think Wonder Woman has been a triumph for me in so many ways.
I'm yet to see it. I've heard it is good, and I probably will watch it at some point. Again, it's just I don't have as much of a... I want to watch DC films.
Yeah. I think when they're done well, they're done well. It's just a shame that I think they're on a hiding to nothing now anyway, because I think, again, people have already decided before films come out. There's a new one, isn't there? The Batman, which has got Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, vampire playing.
Yeah, and again, they've tried to reimagine it. Now, whether that'll work or not, I don't know. But at the moment, that seems to be getting quite a lot of love, whereas other incarnations of it have been, slammed. So,
do you reckon that's a lot of love from a generation, a Twilight generation?
It might be. But do they cross? I suppose they do. Really, it's all fancy, isn't it? Okay, so we've talked successes and the less successful films within the DC and Marvel universes. What strikes me is that
what strikes me.
Yeah, don't. I used to, or really upsettingly, I used to have all the comics, or have a lot of the comics when I was younger. I had tons of them, the American comics. I don't even know where I got them from. I think probably other people gave them to me, but I had stacks and stacks of them. They must have just been chucked away, which is devastating.
Painful, yeah.
But I started looking at, and it's very much depends on the character that you bring into a film or a story as to whether it's successful or not. And when you start looking at all the other, you've got the Batmans, and you've got the Iron Man, and you've got Captain America, and and Wonder Woman. They're all successful. But then you start looking at other characters that they've created, and they don't tend to talk about these one particularly. For example, what have we got? Well, one that I know is quite popular is Squirrel Girl.
Yeah, Squirrel Girl.
Now, I'd never even heard of Squirrel Girl.
I believe she's coming into the MCU. Well, there was talks of her coming into the MCU at some point. I don't know loads about her, but she seems like an interesting character.
She's got a big bushy tail.
Yep, I know that much.
That she uses as a weapon. Right, she can jump from tree to tree. Right, yeah. I've been reading up on these things. She's got retractable claws, I believe, and a couple of other things as well. But quite well known. She's got
squirrel senses. She can sense nuts.
Squirrel senses. Yes. See things in slow motion.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Little. Go back to another one.
Yeah. Animals.
Right. What about Bouncing Boy? Have you ever heard of Bouncing Boy?
No, I haven't actually.
Right, he's a DC superhero.
That'll be why.
And his special powers are that he can inflate and then bounce around.
I mean, I tell you what, it makes total sense, doesn't it?
Yeah. Why he's not in the Justice League, I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe it's because he can't fit through the door. He's inflated.
Yeah, exactly. What about? And this annoyed me on so many levels. The Colour Kid, right?
The Colour Kid.
Yeah.
Colour Kid. Yeah.
Do you know what the Colour Kid can do?
Change colour?
He can change the colour of things. That's his
change
power.
colour of things.
Of things. And I don't. And what's really annoying about it? They spell colour COLOR.
Yeah. Well.
So annoying on so many levels, as I say.
I mean, I guess it could be quite handy if you're trying to get something and it's not quite matching something else, like furniture-wise. Oh, this piece of furniture I've bought doesn't quite match this other piece of furniture. You just change colour of it.
It's not a superpower, is it?
But that's as much as I can see it being helpful.
Yeah, I can't see how that
painted it.
There's some worrying ones.
Maybe he's a tradesperson. Maybe he does people's kitchens and stuff, and it's just a lot easier.
Still not a superhero. There's one called the Dog Welder. Right now,
sorry, was that last one Marvel or DC?
That was DC. No. Colour Kid. Colour Kid was DC. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, it's a bit of a pattern forming here. I don't know what all of these are, but there's. Where were we? Oh, So we've got Leather Boy.
Leather Boy. What was the Dog Welder? Hang on.
Oh, sorry, I said Dog Welder, didn't I?
You said Dog Welder.
Yeah, I can't just leave that up in the air, can I?
No, you can't.
So, Dog Welder. What do you reckon a Dog Welder does?
Is it a dog that welds things?
No. From what I can gather, it's someone who never shows his face and uses a welding blowtorch or whatever, but he has a welding mask on. But I've read quite a bit about it. I couldn't find any reference to the dog, apart from that he seems to be carrying a dog around in most of the pictures that you see of him.
Maybe. I thought maybe the other option
really
would
dangerous.
Yeah, you would be. How do you make a dog go woof?
Yeah.
With that, though, I was thinking maybe he welds dogs together, but then that's just a dog breeder, isn't it? Dog breeder making crossbreeds.
Yeah, I really don't understand. I don't think it was particularly popular anyway. So.
Well, no, it can't.
Right, so then I'll bring that back because I was desperate to tell you about Leather Boy.
Leather Boy.
And I think, and I actually read a few bits about it. I think some of the guys that create these characters do it when they're a bit annoyed or trying to make a point or being spiteful or whatever. But some of them, like Leather Boy. What would you expect Leather Boy to look like?
A cow.
No?
No.
You're veering off from the...
Leather jacket.
Yeah.
Leather trousers.
Yeah.
Basically wearing a gimp suit.
Yep. Yeah, roughly. Yeah. Think sort of village people come Blue Oyster Bar. That's lost on you as well.
No, yeah, don't know what that is.
Yeah. So, and you know, the pictures, and it doesn't seem to do anything.
Just think of village people.
Yeah. It doesn't seem to do anything, this particular character. And I think they just put him in because it sort of annoyed other people that he was there. But he's actually got a ball gag in his mouth as well.
Right. What kind of comic is this, Dad?
No, this is straight up. I can't tell you whether it's DC or Marvel. I think it might have been Marvel. I'm not sure.
This is a special older man's comic. This is in a Playboy magazine. This comic.
Playboy.
Right.
There's Skate Man.
Skate Man, man that skates.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah,
that's his special skill. He beats people up, but he's got on skates when he does it.
I would have called him Skater Boy.
Yeah, that would have been better.
See you later, boy.
See you later, boy. Yeah, I think that's where we go. Krypto Super Dog. Now, I think this is a little bit more well known.
No, Krypto the Super Dog. Yeah, I know Krypto the Super Dog. He's Superman dog, isn't he?
Why does Superman need to have a dog?
No, it was a kids' TV series as well. That one's, and there was a bat dog as well. It's just basically a dog version of Superman.
Yeah, but I thought the whole point was when Superman came away from Krypton that the planet was destroyed. Are they saying the dog was in kennels at the time, so it was all right, or what? But I don't. I think they're just see. This is where you start pandering to let's just put anything out. Krypto Dog.
Maybe it was a dog that accidentally ate kryptonite. I feel like there is a background story, and I actually know I've heard about it, and I think it used to be on the TV series. I mean, I believe it was a comic beforehand, but there was a TV series, and I used to watch it. Really disliked Superman, but I enjoyed that TV series.
What about the Matter Eater Lad?
Matter eats a lad.
Yeah.
What? Oh, he eats matter.
Yeah. Anything. He just eats anything.
Oh, that's basically like the Galactus, destroyer of worlds. You know, eating planets.
Well, not quite on that scale, because the pictures I saw, he was eating things like I don't know, mattresses and
like
bits of wood
punches.
and things like that. Yeah.
When was the last time you heard the
Biscuits.
word hole puncher?
What are you talking about, hole puncher?
Well, when was the last time you thought about a hole puncher?
I haven't thought about a hole puncher for a long while, I don't think.
Yeah, exactly. That's the point. You don't see many of them nowadays, do you?
Oh, nonsense. Don't stop talking nonsense. Yeah, but another thing about that, right? Why is he the matter eater? Matter eater lad.
Matter eater lad.
Not boy, not man, lad.
I mean, because all of them are called boy, aren't they? And lad.
Yeah, but if Matter Eater wasn't embarrassing enough, then they called him lad.
Oh, Iron Man, Batman, Superman, Ant-Man, something boy, big boy, little boy.
No, you're talking about
different boy, and then lad. You know, lad's just another one.
Right, and there's some other ones, but one of my particular favourites, and I'll finish on this for the ones that I've looked up. He's called the Arm Fall Off Boy.
Does his arm fall off?
He can take his arms off and use them as weapons. Right, now, okay.
How do he then hold the arm to use it as a weapon? With his other arm?
With his other arm. So he can only take one arm off at a time, I reckon.
But his arms reach.
Why not? Yeah, but his arms are big, muscly arms, right? Why would you, if someone was slightly out of reach, just move a little bit closer to them, right? And if you wanted to hit them, just hit them. Don't take your arm off and then hit them with your arm.
Can other people take his arm off?
I don't know. It looks like they literally come off and go back on again.
Oh.
Yeah. See?
Like a Lego man's arm.
I think it's just his arms as well.
Not his legs. That seems strange, that one. I don't really see the point.
And the actual name of it, they must have been sitting around there going, oh, what we've got to think up now? Oh, they didn't like our leather boy. Let's think up another one. No, I don't know. A boy that his arms come off and arm fall off boy. It's not even, it's not even a good title for someone, is it? It's just everything about that says disaster.
He's an armful. I mean, the same thing could go with Spider-Man. People didn't think much of Spider-Man because you think Spider-Man, it's a man that has powers of a spider. That doesn't sound that interesting, but turns out he's the best superhero ever. You know, so
in your
sometimes ever. No, everyone's opinion. Everyone.
No, well, certainly ain't my opinion.
Well, you're wrong. Everyone who eats matter boy who matters.
Yeah.
Eat matter lad. Yeah. Sorry.
I like Dog Welder. He's my favourite. No, I think if I had a favourite out of the lot, I do like Spider-Man, but I think Captain America was always before the films. The comics I had of Captain America, there was something about it, the colours, everything about it. I just liked the idea of it, and actually, the Captain America, like the Chris Evans Captain America in the films, is just spot on. I just think it's such an excellent.
How about Captain Britain?
Oh, see, I understand that every country has to have their own superhero, right? But I don't know that you necessarily have to have something. I mean, most countries have got their own superhero. Because Spain have got someone called Pac-Man.
Pac-Man. that one.
And he's got a path cat as well. Again, what's with having a pet?
Don't know. I mean, just quickly going slightly off topic, as I've always wanted to be Spider-Man, and I still want to be Spider-Man, and I think being Spider-Man would be great. In America, he's from New York. He's from Brooklyn, New York.
Mm-hmm.
Quite built up, lots of tower blocks, lots of skyscrapers. Spider-Man UK, I'm not sure exactly where he's from, but I guess if he's in London, which I assume probably is, he can get around London quite easily, swing from buildings and stuff like that. Now, Spider-Man Essex, which would be us, which might be me, which doesn't actually exist, but imagine our Spider-Man Essex from Essex in England, in UK. Where would I swing from? Exactly. Tree to tree, lamppost to lamppost, not very far. But I guess this was something.
But some of them 5G masts that, unless they've been all burnt and ripped
they've
down.
all been burnt down now because they caused COVID, apparently. Yeah. Now the thing is, this was actually something I've always been concerned about what happens if he's somewhere without all these things. But it was something that was addressed in the latest Spider-Man films. You know, I think it was Homecoming when he was at the house and then he had to run. He was about to swing somewhere, but there was no skyscrapers around, so he had to run back to the city. Slight tangent there, but I just thought this must be difficult to be Spider-Man in a place that hasn't got loads of stuff around.
Couldn't he get in a bath and get flushed down, or in the toilet, or get flushed down and into the sewers and out where he needs to go? That's what happens with spiders, don't it?
Yeah, I think that definitely should have been done. So there we go. That's a way to fix the Spider-Man comics, just flush them down the toilet.
Marvellous.
Holy sponsors, Batman!
I'm Batman.
When you've had a hard day on the trail and you're covered from head to toe in dust and tumbleweeds, it's good to get back home, have a hot bath in front of the fire, and when you're done, why not pop on some Hiawatha moccasins? Hiawatha, low on price, each sold separately. They're purdy.
Game time.
Woohoo! Okay, so what we thought we'd do with this particular section is I was tasked with thinking about what sort of superhero I'd like to be and what my special powers would be, and also some for you, Connor, and I believe you did likewise, didn't you?
I have thought about what special powers I want right now, this very second, and I will also, this very second, respond to yours.
Oh dear.
So
Here
my
we
preparation has been zero.
These second sections are just getting worse and worse.
Last week's one was pretty good, I thought. Very creative.
Right, okay.
I was very busy today. I had to go all the way to B&Q, and I also cleaned the fish tank. I normally do that on
brilliant.
a Sunday.
Thanks for that insight into your exciting life.
I know.
Right, anyway, okay. All right, so what powers would I... Anyway, what powers... I did actually think about this, and I thought, well, you could become invisible, you know, you could run fast, you know, which would be handy these days because I'm getting slower and slower. Super strength, but I'm not really... I didn't think any of those were particularly things that I would be bothered about. And then I thought, well, I looked down the list I had of the other sort of superheroes that you don't necessarily think of, and someone like Squirrel Girl, right? Now I don't
you want
know
to be Squirrel Girl.
I've always wanted to be a squirrel. No, I don't know that she can talk to squirrels, but she may be able to. That might be one of her superpowers. But I would like to have the ability, I know this is a bit Dr. Dolittle, but the ability to communicate with all animals.
Okay.
So be able to speak to anything. Fish. Aquaman does that, I suppose, doesn't he? Fish, any mammals, anything at all, and be able to
I like the way you
communicate
had
with
to
them.
over-explain what all animals mean by explaining different
Well,
kinds of animals.
I didn't want people to be confused and think that I was only talking about specific, like squirrels. I wanted people to realise that I would be been conversing with all sorts of animals, from from the smallest to the largest.
So
But I
from
think that'd
like
be
orangutans, moths, and also jaguars, but the animal, not the car.
yeah, I could get involved and sort out any fights that were happening and make sure they
Yeah,
didn't. Yeah.
back up the
So,
orangutan.
and it's all about language, I guess. With this, I could, I'd like to be. I suppose this is not much a superpower. It's more of a. I should have paid more attention at school, but I'd like to be able to speak any language, like so, almost have a universal communicator built in, so I hear what anybody's saying in English, be able to translate and be able to communicate with anybody from anywhere.
So basically, you just want to be able to universally communicate with absolutely anything or anyone.
Yes, including fish.
Including fish. Now,
just in case you weren't thinking that they were included.
When you say, because some animals can't physically make a noise, they don't make any noise at all.
Yeah, but they might look at me in a certain way.
So you want to be able to communicate with animals. Like, for example, most fish, there are some that kind of use a sonar system, but not really many. They don't speak, but they might have body language that kind of do stuff.
Yeah, that's what I want.
You want to be able to read animals' body language. I mean, you can learn that anyway, but like obviously things like dolphins do communicate with each other through sound. Obviously, they're not fish; they're mammals. But because actually they've got different names for each other, haven't they, Dad? Another callback to another episode.
They do indeed.
Yeah,
and some animals have names for humans, or a word for human. Yeah. But
anyway,
look, I mean,
but so you. Like bees would do a little dance, you could understand what they're talking about. I guess that makes sense, because if you could hear everything, like for example, a bee going, "All right, Derek, I'm just going over to this flower. Have you checked out this flower over here? Oh, it's really, really yellow," and stuff like that. You'd be hearing that stuff all the time because insects were everywhere, and you'd be able to hear the rats down in the sewers and stuff like that. Because that's how they speak.
But like,
you just want to talk to the dog, don't you?
I don't know really.
I'd love to know what the dog. I'd love to know what he's thinking.
But no, I think if you could, you'd probably be able to channel out or channel into just one particular.
So I wouldn't
walk around going, because everybody's shouting at me, like the film. I realise this is getting more and more like the film Eddie Murphy Dr. Dolittle film. I'd be able to say, I'd be able to select what, and be able to control it all. But I think it would be an incredible power to have.
So let me get this straight. You're basically like, you really want to be a mixture between Dr. Dolittle, which also you're saying about Eddie Murphy, but you got to remember Robert Downey Jr. just recently did a version as well, so he's Iron Man.
No, that's it. I haven't seen that yet, so I can't speak about that.
His daughter could also speak. Do you know Eddie Murphy's daughter could also speak? That was Dr. Dolittle 3.
Yeah,
anyway,
I didn't watch 3.
All right, that's the only one we have on DVD. The other two are video. And you want to be a mixture between that and Squirrel Girl.
Well, no, Squirrel Girl. I don't know if Squirrel Girl can talks to squirrels. I think I read that she did have some squirrel companions, and one of the other superheroes, whether it was Leather Boy or Dog Welder, killed her squirrel friends, which caused a big upset, as you can imagine.
Well, Squirrel Girl is Marvel, and didn't you say Dog Welder is DC? So I think that would.
Yeah, well, she was upset about the fact they were from two completely different universes as well.
Hulk belongs to both, so that was a strange one. But yeah, no, I get what you mean. I think if I was thinking about, so what would your superhero name be? First of all, you got an idea?
Bilingual boy.
Bilingual boy. Yeah.
Chef.
All right. Bilingual boy who also speaks to animals. That's just subtitle.
Well, bilingual as in I can speak any. I can speak fish. I can speak ape. I can speak insect. I can speak.
You're gonna list them all, yeah?
Lizard. Yeah, how long have we got to go on?
Well,
I can speak orangutan, I can speak chimp,
all right,
I can
I think I
speak...
get it. I get it.
Yeah,
Yep. Bilingual boy speaks to a lot of things.
yeah.
Anyway, I think if you were a superhero, you would have the power to sleep. You'd be able to just go to sleep anywhere. That's already your superpower. Just fall asleep on the sofa. Really,
All right.
now, maybe you'd be able to take off using your blow-offs because you've got really powerful and loud blow-offs, like a
Yes.
rocket.
Yeah.
Yeah, I reckon that's your superpower, and I reckon you've also got the ability to control water because you spend a lot of time in the bath, and I think one day there's going to be some kind of radioactive explosion, and you're going to be in the bath at the time, and you're going to be one with the water.
So, liquid lead, flatulence fella,
Bath bubbles boy.
yeah.
Yeah, bath bubbles boy. That's your name.
All right, lovely. So they're all real positive things that you...
I would say that the ability to control water is a key one that I think would be really cool.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Not so chuffed, not so excited about your suggestions, but they're your
Well, you
suggestions.
can fly and control water.
You've obviously put in, a couple of minutes worth of thought into those suggestions.
It wasn't really a minute, a couple of seconds, because I couldn't leave just silence whilst we were having this conversation. It was very fast thinking. All right.
Great.
So,
okay.
Shall I say about my one? Yeah?
Yeah, please. Yeah.
On my
really
one,
looking forward to this.
This one, I think I would love. I think one key power that I think everyone would say would be the best is to be able to control time. In the fact that if you had the ability to control time for myself and other objects, so I had the ability to, for example, stop time for slow down time respective to me, but I could also slow down time maybe in respective to what I'm touching as well as me. So my clothes as well, because that would be ideal. Otherwise, I'd slow down time. I'd try to take my hoodie off, but my hoodie would be stuck to me because it can't move that fast. That kind of thing. So I can control time with me and things I'm touching, and that would give you the ability to do so much. Now, I'm not necessarily saying go back in time, but maybe I am, because that would be quite helpful as well. But
yeah, but how would that be helpful?
I don't know. You just go back in time and correct any mistakes you might have. No, but I think controlling time, so being able to slow it down and speed it up, would be incredibly helpful without changing it to myself, because it means that, for example, I could go into a burning building, slow time right down, go and grab that person, put back to normal speed, and then slow it down again, because then they're moving at the same speed as me, and I'd just carry them down, and we don't get burnt because it takes ages for the heat to really hit us.
Yeah, but what about cause and effect? What about meddling in things that happened and changing the course of history?
Well, I haven't changed course of history because I'm not going back in time. I'm just slowing down and speeding up.
Right, but you are going to change it because you're going to change what would have happened.
No, because it's not happened yet. I think you're...
So you can only go.
Are you saying that the entirety of history is written? Yeah.
Well, history is written already. Yeah, it's happening.
No, sorry, the entirety of the future is written.
I think you could ask 9 out of 10 people, because of where we live, would say,
What do you mean because of where we live?
Look,
what?
But it's no. So you could only go forward in time. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah.
Oh, that seems a bit.
No. What I could do though is I could, like, for example, freeze time. I can move around in time. It means I'm really fast. Pretty much means I can teleport anywhere. It means I can walk on water.
Yeah, but no one else will be able to see you doing it.
Yeah, but I don't need someone to be able to see me do it. If I'm slowing down time, they'll be able to see me going fast.
Oh, right. So when you go back to normal, you go, oh, guess what I just did?
Well, no, but the point being, But the point being is, if you slow down time really fast, people think you're running across water. But it means that you could. I'm not saying I'm Jesus. I don't need to be able to walk on water to be able to get people's recognition. I mean, I can go and like I said, someone's in a burning building. Some woman and her child, or man and their child, or anyone, role person. We don't judge here. But I could go run into. I could slow down time, go into that burning building, pick them up, walk out with them before the whole building collapses, because I've slowed down time.
What if that child you saved's the new Hitler?
But this is something completely different. What difference does it make? That doesn't have any kind of. I don't understand. What happens if the person that you're speaking to is like that fish could grow up to be Hitler?
Hitler fish? There's no such thing as a Hitler fish. Well, there might have been in DC way back. That might have been one of their characters.
Hitler fish.
Hitler
fish boy. Oh my god.
Well, yeah. That's,
So what do you think? Oh, my
what would your
name would be time. So slowly time goes by. That boy.
Oh well, that's I've forgotten that already. That's that good.
The Watchmaster. Watchmaster.
The Watchmaster.
Yeah, because I control people's watches.
Dear, dear.
My watch goes normal speed because it's touching me, but everyone else... That would be really weird when you put it back to normal time. Did your watch go in seconds? Or I think your watch would just move at the same time.
Come here, look at my watch. It's different to yours. We just say it's not working, is it? Yeah, you just wound it back. No. You don't know, but I just run across that water and saved Hitler from that burning building. And I would. I'm going to slightly change mine, bearing in mind what you said about me. And I reckon your superpower would be have a retractable and extendable beard. So that you could use as another hand, a bit like arm fall off boy. But with your beard, right? But you use your beard to like stop crashes. So if a car was out of control, you'd extend your beard out, and it just it would hit it, and it would absorb
like a
the
crumple
power.
Zone.
Yeah, and then if you were in a bit like you said, but I wouldn't if you were in a burning building. But you got to a window and it wasn't burning, because otherwise you'd burn your beard. You could let your beard out like
a bridge.
ZZ Top or what was the who's the Disney princess that's got long hair?
Rapunzel.
I was saying Rasputin. That's that.
Yeah, Rasputin.
No, right, okay. So you do that.
Yeah, the different thing that came out.
And retract it, and I don't know what you're talking about after so already. And extend your beard out.
Rasputin was the Russian love machine, wasn't he?
Only according to Boney M, he was a mad monk, killed a lot of people, apparently, allegedly. I don't want him writing in saying that I've got it all wrong. As well as having a retracting and extendable beard, you have the ability to have 5 useless facts about any given subject that someone's talking about. So, not
useless,
and which renders them helpless into a sort of stupor when you're telling them these 5 facts.
You'd say actually that might be really helpful, because it might be that I calm someone's nerves or yeah.
Or you could just envelop them in your beard, and it's like a big blanket. You can also you've got a skill of contradicting people. So when anybody says anything, you can just contradict them and do the opposite to what they say, or argue the opposite point to them. It doesn't matter what it is. That's what you can do. So I would say we could either call you contradicting chap,
contradicting,
or what? Actually, it should be beard boy, shouldn't it?
Contradicting chap or beard boy.
Beard boy. I'm definitely going to go for beard boy.
Contradicting beard boy.
No,
beard
that's
boy.
Too much. Beard boy. Definitely beard boy.
Beard boy. A boy that's got a beard.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one makes
Happens.
sense.
It does.
Yeah.
Well, I could call you Beard Man or the Beard.
I like the beard.
The Beard and Bilingual Boy.
Yeah, we could become a crime fighting duo. Although Bilingual Boy wasn't my one for you.
What was your one for me? I can't remember now. I bet you can't either, can you?
It was that water one. I don't know. But it was Bubbles in the Bath Boy.
Oh,
Bubble
right.
Bath Boy.
Yeah, not as keen on
Boy.
that. Right.
No. Anyway, I think we've reasonably ripped into each other just a little bit there. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, to a fair amount. I mean, sorry for not preparing there, but I was very, very, very busy man.
Right, yeah, okay.
Anyway.
I've been at work all day, but don't you worry about that.
Well, I've been at work all week, so denied to the fish tank. You finished earlier than me.
Oh, right, yeah.
Anyway.
Let's not get into this argument.
I was wondering how I could...
Contradict her, boy.
I was wondering how I could crowbar in this new comic that I'm reading, The Union, which is about British superheroes. But I couldn't work out a way, so I just throw it in there. Cool.
All right, well done.
I know, I did it.
I don't think anybody's going to notice that.
No one will notice that. Anyway, let's... I think that's it then, isn't it, for today?
Yes, it is for this week, I believe. So, not too bad. Quite enjoyed that. Certainly got different opinions on superheroes, but that's fine. And on to the next subject to destroy or disembody or
just discuss.
That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah, discuss. Oh, I'm glad. Well, I've learnt so much. It's been a lovely time with you, Dad, and I look forward to next week. Yes. So, but not only thank you to you, Dad, but also thank you to all those listeners for listening. I hope you have enjoyed this as well.
Have we got anybody that listens to this?
Well,
I'm still not convinced. I listen to them, but I'm not convinced it's not just my ones that are showing up on there. We'll see. Maybe we'll get a few more.
Do you reckon there's a way we find out if people have truly listened? If you have listened, say the word 5 right now wherever you are, and we'll know that you've listened.
Yeah. 5.
There you go. Well done, Dad. You've listened. So thank you so much for listening. If you haven't already, you can follow us on our Facebook, our Instagram, our Twitter. You can follow all those, keep updated with everything. We post some clips and sometimes some pictures on there. We also, if you're not aware already, we also have our podcast available on many different podcast platforms now. Dad, can you name them?
Yes.
Are you going to?
No.
All right, okay. Well, I'll name it for you then. So we're available on Apple Podcasts or iTunes, whichever one you prefer to use. We're also available on Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Deezer, TuneIn. I think I said Google Podcasts. I now can't remember any of the others. We're on multiple. If you download an app that's probably called Podcasts on your App Store or Google Play Store, it will probably have our podcasts on there. We're not on all podcast platforms yet, though, so don't go too overboard with trying to find us and everything. We know you're eager, so are we. But anyway, that's that plug-in done. Have you got anything to say, Dad?
No, not really. I think that's pretty much it for us. So,
all right. Well, thank you so much again for listening. We hope to see you again next week.
Yeah, that seems to be your catchphrase now, which doesn't work, does it?
Though we don't see anyone. Then. All right. Thank you very much.
Bye, everyone. Bye, Beard Boy.
Bye, Bubble Buff Man.